So the Dow hitting again that 14,000 mark again today on an intraday basis. We're maybe not going to close there. We'll have to wait and see. But Jim Rogers says you need to hold on to that enthusiasm because bad news is on the horizon for U.S. investors. He, of course, is the chairman of Rogers Holding and author of Street Smarts, Adventures on the Road and on the Markets. And you've had a lot of adventures in your lifetime, Jim. You say that we're in for a bad wake-up call, and it's because of the Bank of Japan that your reasoning is coming from. Explain that.
Well, the Bank of Japan has said that they're going to print unlimited amounts of money. Now, that's not good news. Then Mr. Bernanke said, well, I'll match that. I'll print lots of money, too. The the Europeans are catching on. You got money printing going on everywhere, Cheryl, and that has never been good for anybody. And it's great for a while. But in the end,
it was good, though, if you look back at market performance, especially those large cap stocks, think of your McDonald's, companies that benefited from a weak dollar when it came to international sales. And that is your sweet spot, obviously, is international, Jim. It was good for U.S. stocks, for those Dow components. Why would this not be any different, do you think?
Well, no, it is good. It's great. Everybody's having a good time. And the Germans have an election this year. They're going to have a lot of good news coming out so Mrs. Merkel can win the election. But this is artificial. Printing money, Cheryl, is artificial. That's goosing everything up, but it comes to an end eventually.
But, Jim, but you don't think, though, that over the next couple of years, that as they begin to scale back, and we know the Fed has that target of 6.5% unemployment, you don't think that by the time that hits the tape, if you will, that the economy is going to be recovered overall? The U.S. economy. We'll get to Asia in a second.
It will be an artificial recovery. I suspect that after the German election in the fall, you'll start to see the world economy slowing down no matter what governments do.
Jim, you're unflappable today. Back in 1973, you launched Quantum Fund with George Soros, of course, famed investors, and your returns were amazing at that time. What are you doing now to book big returns?
My book is coming out today. My book, Street Smarts, is coming out today.
You can tell me to read the book, Jim?
Yeah, read the book. For goodness sakes, read the book. No, I've invested in some currencies around the world. I have investments in real assets, commodities, call them what you will, because they're printing money. And throughout history, Cheryl, when they print money, the way to protect yourself is to own real assets. Now, stocks are going through the roof. Also, I happen to be worried about stocks because I know it's artificial.
All right, let's talk about emerging markets, in particular about China. Again, that is what you're living in Singapore. You've been watching the Asian economies. There's been some concern about China in particular. If you look at the growth rates there, that they can't sustain 8%. Some say that the data we get out of the Chinese government, you can't even trust the currency. I could go on and on and on and on.
Cheryl, I don't trust the data from any government, including the U.S. Do you? For goodness sakes. We know the governments lie to us all the time. Yeah, you have to report it, but we know they're all lying. I don't know whether China's growing at 3% or 33%, but I do know they're booming. I know there's a lot of good stuff going on in China. There's a lot of good stuff going throughout Asia.
One of the things that hurt us, Jim, and we've seen this over the last 2 years, and we hope this doesn't play out once again. I don't want to see history in 2013. We had a strong first half of the year, and then something happened. Usually it was out of Washington. It was an S&P downgrade, debt ceiling debate, take your pick. And then we fell off that cliff. Do you see that happening this year?
After the election in Germany this fall, yes, I expect that things will be bad in the world economy.
You've mentioned Europe like 4 times now.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Merkel is going to put out a lot of good news. And she's got one of the largest economies in the world. Her central bank in Europe is printing money as well now. No, everybody's printing money. But, Cheryl, it cannot go on. This is all artificial. We're living in a fool's paradise. If the world economy is going to be based on printing presses, that's a bad scene.
I keep thinking of the lost decade, Japan's lost decade. Jim Rogers, thank you very much. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
All right.